3 more years of Donald Trump will not be enough to sustain the U.S. economy. To be honest, I find it hard to comprehend that Donald Trump has been in office for just over a year. The U.S. economy as a whole is on the verge of collapsing, and it feels like a lot has been going on. Additionally, the U.S. economy is so strong that the collapse hasn't occurred. However, the harm that Donald Trump has caused over the past 12 months is likely more than the harm that the U.S. economy has suffered during the previous 30 or perhaps 50 years. This is not a political video, though. It doesn't matter if you support or oppose Trump. This is about how the U.S. economy as a whole is being negatively impacted by his choices and actions. The U.S. economy was not created overnight. This economy has been developed by the United States for more than 250 years. As it dominates the rest of the world economy, what you are witnessing at this moment is literally the pinnacle of the American empire, the U.S. dollar, and the U.S. economy. However, the choices he has been making are completely destroying the influence that the United States has established. Let's examine one of his actions. First of all, he began a trade war by imposing tariffs on other countries as soon as he assumed office. The issue is that, since free trade only helps the U.S. spent decades reducing international barriers. The United States' argument was, listen, we have the biggest consumer market in the world. Therefore, if a U.S. business is successful in America, it will be successful everywhere else in the world. Therefore, America's task was to persuade all nations to reduce their rates. For example, the United States practically flew to China and said, "We'll do anything you want as long as you open your markets to us." Indeed, there have been some tariffs. All things considered, however, China has opened its doors and has been among the biggest investors in the U.S. as well as one of the biggest buyers of U.S. debt. Then Donald Trump appears and declares, "You know what? Screw everything the United States has done. I will simply impose tariffs that will be so disastrous that it will be impossible for American companies to dominate international markets, and I will annul all trade agreements the United States has made with all of its wealth." Indeed, the United States was winning in several sectors. However, if you simply enlarge the image, you can see that iPhones are available in every nation on Earth. Meta's social media is used by the rest of the globe. Twitter is used by everyone. There are Teslas everywhere. Everybody on the planet is watching Netflix. And who gains from that? America, the United States. However, within the past 12 months, the U.S. has literally blown that away. Furthermore, we still don't know how the U.S. will trade with other countries. And unlike in the previous 20 years, that didn't occur. That was only a few days ago. The second action he took was to stop production in the U.S. His primary pledge was, "Dude, we are not manufacturing anything in the United States. You are aware that manufacturing is a business. The government does not engage in this activity. Private organizations engage in this activity. When there's a chance to earn money, they do it. The idea behind capitalism is that I will launch a business if I find an opportunity. I'll produce that item and turn a profit. However, manufacturing is an extremely challenging industry. Thus, you have a manufacturing company with enormous expenses and a software company with a profit margin of 70 to 80%. Therefore, every euro and every cent counts, and energy is one of the main expenses associated with manufacturing. Fuel is essential for those factories. The price of oil has now doubled and is on the verge of tripling. Additionally, oil prices may potentially quadruple if he continues with the Iranian initiative. If U.S. manufacturing was already very costly prior to Trump, it will now become much more costly. In actuality, it will become unfeasible. I've heard some people argue that the U.S. government can essentially subsidize industry. Yes, that is accurate. You are capable of doing it. However, that just means that you are providing these companies with government funds so they may continue to operate. That sounds unfair. Moreover, this is not a long-term solution. However, manufacturing also requires you to import a lot of goods from all over the world. Even if something is built wholly in the United States of America and is manufactured there, it does not guarantee that every single component will originate from the United States. It implies that it is essentially made. So, you bring things from all over the world, such as lumber, aluminum, oil, and whatever else it needs, such as plastic. The factory will then produce that. Currently, the cost of shipping has skyrocketed due to this fight. Thus, the cost of electricity and insurance is considerable. Thus, transporting things to that factory is just costly. We have everything in America, so we don't need the rest of the world, even if you assume that you're bringing it from somewhere else. Let's assume that. Certain items still need to be driven from one location to the factory, which results in expenses. Naturally, that is not feasible. Many things still need to be imported. For example, take a look at the home you currently occupy. Indeed, the house was manufactured in the United States. You, or a developer in America, most likely constructed it. However, the building materials for that house were imported from other parts of the world. Have you seen how costly manufacturing has become? Have any businesses who had intended to manufacture anything in America altered their minds? The national debt comes in third. The government had to reduce spending since the United States was already headed in an unsustainable direction. For example, since COVID, overall spending has become unmanageable. Now, to tell the truth, this isn't my worst. The deficit has been skyrocketing since Trump signed his first tax cuts, and since then, it has completely gotten out of control, with the government spending far more than it is bringing in. Therefore, cutting back on your expenditures is the best method to address that. Because of this, the national debt has been growing at an almost exponential rate lately. It is increasing more quickly than before. We all understood that it was time to take charge, and it was likely Doge's point that Elon Musk, the man who essentially reduced costs in his businesses and made electric vehicles accessible in the United States. SpaceX was actually built by him, and I'm confident that if he persisted and the government supported him, he might be able to resolve the issue. I'm not sure. That is not the same question. However, we currently know that government spending is increasing more quickly than it has in the past. Additionally, that imbalance will increase by an additional $1 trillion if the US decides to launch a ground invasion of Iran. Therefore, all of the issues with the national debt that we had anticipated would arise in 20 years were actually occurring in a year or two. Interest rates and inflation. Because prices should cease to rise, we anticipated lower interest rates, or at the very least, lower inflation. First of all, tariffs prevented us from experiencing reduced inflation last year. You must pay a duty on anything you bring into the United States. A tariff is a government-imposed tax. Furthermore, these are not my words. This is literally the Supreme Court's ruling that these tariffs are unlawful, since only Congress has the authority to impose taxes on Americans. That is not a right of the U.S. president. As a result, these tariffs were declared unlawful and are no longer in effect. And just when everyone assumed that there would be no more tariffs and that business could continue, he finally launches a war. As a result, oil prices have doubled and may even quadruple, which implies that inflation this year will be much worse. At the most recent meeting, the Fed chairman states that we are unable to decrease rates, not because we don't want to, but because energy costs will now affect all other prices. This implies that we may be anticipating an increase in inflation, and it is our primary responsibility to keep inflation under control. As you can see, inflation is not decreasing this year. Perhaps interest rates won't decline even next year. Now, the fact that the economy is cyclical is actually the largest issue. We are currently entering a recession after experiencing a boom. Thus, the economy is contracting. Typically, we are expected to reduce interest rates in order to stimulate the economy. And the jobs reports are how we find out about that, correct? At least for the past 6 months, the rate of job growth has considerably decreased. However, the Fed is unable to accomplish that. Thus, once more, neither inflation nor interest rates are declining. The reserve currency comes next. Therefore, Donald Trump declared that he would never allow BRICS to replace the dollar as the world's reserve currency. And for the duration of its existence, the U.S. literally created the reserve currency. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for more than 200 years, and it was formally adopted in 1945. Now, the petrodollar contributes to its status as the reserve currency. The petrodollar has been declared destroyed by Donald Trump. It is, in fact, his tweet. In essence, he's saying, I don't care about all that oil that's supposed to be sold in US dollars. There won't be any more petrodollars if all these countries wish to purchase that oil and are free to open the Strait of Hormuz for themselves. Additionally, he is effectively dismantling NATO. In essence, he stated that NATO, the military organization that maintains the dollar as the world's reserve currency, did not come to aid us, and that we will no longer assist NATO. And all of this has happened in the last year, as if nothing like this had occurred in the previous 20 years. This has actually been going on since February 2025. And now the issue is, what will happen next? With 3 more years to go, what will happen next? I have no idea what he will do. However, he has been attempting to undermine the Fed's independence for the past year, but he has been unsuccessful. Additionally, there is a significant chance that he will actually undermine the Fed's independence because he is replacing the Fed chairman with someone who is probably close to him. The U.S. Treasury market will be destroyed if you do that. The U.S. Treasury always pays a yield higher than inflation, which is the whole idea of the U.S. Treasury market. And since the Fed is the most significant market participant, it typically sets that yield. Therefore, the Treasury market will be destroyed if the Fed artificially keeps interest rates low, and it will not be a short-term fix. The Treasury market will literally come to a halt at that point. In this conflict with Iran, he may also exhaust every member of the U.S. military. You will be astounded by how many sophisticated missiles the United States has already deployed in the first 2 to 3 weeks of this conflict. Furthermore, I have no idea what will occur in 6 months. A year, perhaps? Can you envision? The U.S. military will not have a single cutting-edge missile in its arsenal. To be honest, I have no idea what will happen next at this point. Like, what's left? It's likely that all of this will occur in 2026. What will happen in 2027? Like, really, I can't imagine. Could you perhaps tell me what else you can truly eradicate in the next 3 years? Here's the problem, though. In this economy, do you know who really prevailed? In this economy, who is truly winning? Predicting the markets is getting a lot simpler. Therefore, the market is shifting if Trump takes any action. Very basic example. When he says, "Oh, I'm about to make a deal with Iran," oil prices immediately drop. However, the following day, there is another crisis. A ship is hit in the Strait of Hormuz, and oil prices rise. The following day, he claims, "You know, we have already changed the regime in Iran, but the Iranians don't know it yet. Since I am the only one who is aware of it, oil prices drop once again, and the next day Iran declares that it has never communicated with Trump. We have never communicated with the United States of America, and now oil prices are rising once more. The stock market experiences the same phenomenon. The stock market is quite erratic. As a result, the market's patrons adore it. Because of these daily changes in the market, Wall Street is thrilled. Wall Street can now predict Donald Trump's actions with ease. Because Trump has become so predictable for Wall Street, they are purchasing and selling here, and trillions of dollars being transferred daily from one group of people to another. However, a lot of individuals on the opposite side are suffering, which is perhaps why this is the best moment to be in the market right now. You're losing out on a lot of money if you're not in the market. Therefore, you can find a step-by-step tutorial in my investing tutorial channel on how to make enormous profits from this crisis and all that is going on. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.